Hi guys, welcome, and today I'm going to be talking about my Hermes Spa Experience. So for those who are not familiar, Hermes Spa just means their cleaning and repair service. It's not an actual spa, it's a spa for the bags. If you're new to my channel, I like to buy Hermes bags that are vintage, that are worn, that are used. I source a lot of them from Japanese eBay. More specifically, I got a lot of these through Bearn, which I'll link below. That's my favorite Japanese reseller. They do a great job. I trust their authenticity when it comes to Hermes. But, I'm also going for the older styles, the vintage styles that, back in the day, they didn't have super fakes. But as you can imagine, a lot of these Hermes bags need some tender loving care, especially when it comes to box leather. So I'll start off with my newest spa return and the one that cost the most in repairs and took the longest. So without further ado, it is my Kelly 28 in box leather. I will do some befores that I of course took. And for the most part, this bag, the body of the bag was beautiful and it still is beautiful. The worst of it was the sangles here, which now, as you can see, they've replaced. They've also added brand new hardware and the handle. So the handle, when I first got it, was wiggling. And so I asked to actually not just replace the handle, but I wanted to replace the whole top part. So now that there are double loops, so this turns into a Kelly 1 to a Kelly 2, because technically these extra D-rings came out around 2001 and they named it the Kelly 2. This bag is from 1969. So yes, it only had the regular handle, but I could tell the person who had it before me would clip their shoulder strap into the same ring that the handle's on, and that's what caused it to get pushed forward. So I didn't want that to happen again. So even though it's a little blasphemous, it's a little bit of a Frankenstein now, because now this 1969 bag is a Kelly 2. Just for practicality's sake, like I plan to use this bag, I decided to go ahead and make it a double ring. So I made it a double ring, but at the time that I ordered it, no one asked if I wanted a shoulder strap. So I didn't put in an order for a shoulder strap. I still might, but at the same time, I also really like canvas shoulder straps. So I might just buy one off of Etsy and call it a day, but we'll see. So in terms of this bag, I can tell you what they did and how much it cost. So first of all, because I am in San Francisco Bay Area, I go to the San Francisco boutique that does the repairs. If you go to Palo Alto, they will not do the repair. So they will actually send it off to Paris. They don't send it off to San Francisco, or they hadn't back when I did my first repair back in, I think 2023 or 2024. If that's not the case now, please someone correct me. But as far as I know, the San Francisco boutique is the only one that does the repairs locally in the Bay Area. So let's see. So replacement, they replaced the zip tab. It must be inside then, because there's no zips up here, right? All right, so let me open it up. Oh, I should also mention that, as you can see, it's still cracking here. I mean, unfortunately with box, that is what happens with very old vintage box. You're just gonna have this crackling from the dryness of the leather. If you do take it periodically to Hermes, the Hermes Spa, they will fix it. I don't see replacement zip tab. Oh, the tab itself. Oh, I guess, I don't know if I mean, as far as I know, they never touched the interiors, but there is a zip tab here. Maybe it was missing, so maybe they replaced it, but Hermes won't clean the inside, so I don't know. But that was free, so hey, I'll take it. Let's see what else they replaced. Turret clasp, which I'm assuming is this part here. So I will have to double check, of course, but I'm assuming it's this clasp here. Was $260. Replacement of the side straps was $545. Replacement of the padlock. So I guess they gave me a new lock. Yes, they did give me a new lock. I did look into that. So I guess because all the other hardware is new, just to keep it consistent, they gave me a new padlock as well. So all the gold is very shiny and also wrapped. So I have stickers on a Kelly and that unstick for the first time ever in my life. This one was the biggie. Replacement of the handle and chaps and ring plus flat plate. So this is, I'm sure, flat plate, handles, all of that was $1,490. Oh yeah, and then I guess they did also replace the hanging cord, just the cord. I don't know about the clochette. So I think this whole thing itself was another $120. Ooh, but it's stuck. Let's see if I can pull it out. Yikes. That makes it non-functional. By the time of editing, if I get this figured out, I will let you know. But as of right now, it is stuck. I can't pull the keys out. Makeup and finish was $0. They didn't charge me for that. I guess because everything else was a lot of work here. And then so total, did I say it was $2,540, which was not taxed, I guess because it's a service. So yeah, and then when you do a cleaning, they will give you a brand new dust bag. Of course, it wouldn't match the age of this bag, but you know, that's fine. I do notice that, you know, they had to redo the sangles in the back. It's not as smooth or as even as it used to be, but I think in general, they did a wonderful job. I think it's actually mainly one craftsman who's doing like the majority of the repairs, or he's the lead repair person. So I think something as intensive as this was done by him. It did take, I want to say it took like 9 months. It took a really long time. It took so long that I thought it had shipped to Paris for the repair. But when I talked to the client advisors, they were like, no, actually it stayed here, and they had the parts shipped from France to San Francisco for the repair, which, I mean, kind of makes sense. Like, why would you ship a whole bag if you have a craftsman who could repair it in the city? It's a much more cost-effective way of fixing it. So maybe the replacement parts is what took so long. You know, someone does have to craft all this in Paris before they ship it out. But in any case, the brown Kelly, box Kelly in the 28 size is back in my collection. Now going on to the other repairs. And so my very first repair was actually this Bearn wallet, which in all honesty was very foolish. So I bought this off of Brandier. It was actually one of my very first purchases for like $200 to $300, super low. If you know, the Bearn wallet goes for, I'll put a list here for 2026 prices, but it's got to be at least a couple thousand, I think. So I was like, $200, great. And then I'm just going to get it spot. And so then it's going to, you know, be good as new. So they had to restitch all of this. And then silly me, I asked for a replacement zipper. And so that's what really, I mean, I think it's a little bit odd because I decided to keep the front H the same. I kind of like that vintage look, but you know, I didn't really know much about bags and the zipper was getting kind of stuck. Honestly, I should have just used my, I'll link it down below, but it has this like zipper lubricant. I don't know, like it's a little waxy stick that helps zippers zip better. And that would have been great and would have probably saved me quite a bit of money. They also repainted parts of it, restitched it. There's a ton of pop stitches, especially on the Bearn. This part here is where there's the most wear because obviously you're opening, closing. And especially if the wallet is fully stuffed, it is gonna really put some strain on the corners here. Let's see. So first they replaced the loop on the Bearn. So I think it might have been this, that was $195. And they cleaned it for this leather good was $165. And then full stitching all around was $345. And then the last but not least, the zipper on the inside was $470. To redo, clean up the whole thing, came out to $1,175. Now you add in like maybe $300 for the actual price. You know, it's $1,475. I think it's still less than what the actual retail price is, but in general, it still feels used. It feels a little bit repainted. It's nowhere near a brand new wallet. Unless this wallet had some sort of like really sentimental reason, it was pretty much a huge waste to get this spot. I did this out of Palo Alto, so they did have to send it to Paris for it, and it took about 6 months. I really regret getting this spot, but you know, it taught me a good lesson. Be very selective of what you spa. It is going to be a lot more expensive than you think it's going to be, and only do it if it's really worth it. So I honestly think it was definitely worth it for this beautiful Kelly, but it was not worth it for this Bearn wallet. Even if I were to sell this Bearn wallet now, I don't think I could get more than like $400 or $500. I mean, that would be ideal, in which case I'm still taking a $700 loss or more. $400 or $500, $1,000 loss. So I'm holding on to it for now, but I just have to say I'm not a huge fan of the Bearn wallet in general. Side note, the H corners here are kind of sharp. If you're like digging into your purse for it, it does sometimes like can go under your nail or stab you, and it's not great. But at this point, I sunk so much money into revamping it that I feel like I have to hold on to it. But anyways, and then last but not least, I did take quite a few other things to the spa. I took like a Birkin 35, which was also very much worth it. It was about $360 to get it just cleaned. Oh, and I did do the leather edging, so it probably cost me another like 100-ish. So maybe it was like $500 or so. I ended up selling that one to The RealReal. All in, I actually did make a little bit of money off of that bag. So to me, yes, that is worth it. I think bags in general are worth it if it is a Birkin or Kelly that you're sprucing up. SLGs, not so much. Yeah, I think it has to be a BKC, Birkin, Kelly, or Constance. But I did get this brown box called a Falco clutch, and it's in the Elan size, so it's elongated. Again, east-west. Decided to get this redone because it is actually my birth year. So I'm not going to say, but it's over 40 years old. Joked about this before. I don't have a birth year Birkin or Kelly, but I have a birth year Falco Elan. I just kind of like the simple shape. I'm not really a clutch person, but this was also one of my very first items in box. And it also kind of is what made me fall in love with box. So the cleaning of this, which was done in-house in San Francisco, was $365. So I think cleaning in general is pretty worth it. I mean, I probably bought this for about $300. You know, if I were to sell this, maybe I'll get like $500. So no, it wouldn't be a huge loss. My first box bag and my birth year, no less. So yeah, keeping it for now. All right, so that is so far is my experience with the Hermes Spa, more specifically the one out of San Francisco. And I highly recommend it if you are into vintage bags. They do a great job on the outside with cleaning. And I gotta say, this repair does make this feel really special. I mean, I wouldn't say new because obviously it still has a crackling on the top. I mean, it is from 1969, which makes it over 50 years old. So, you know, it's to be expected. But for this to look so nice, you know, they did such a great job. So let me know what you think. Have you guys spa'd anything before? And did you think it was worth it? As for me, I don't think I'm going to be spa'ing anything else anytime soon. At least I don't have anything planned. In general, I'm kind of laying low in terms of going into the boutique in San Francisco. I find that I have a lot more success at the Ala Moana boutique or Waikiki boutique in Hawaii. So I'm kind of saving my pennies for when I go back home to my hometown in Hawaii and seeing what I can pick up there. Basically cooling it at San Francisco. In general, San Francisco is a very competitive boutique, but if you do need to do a repair, I highly recommend dropping it off there. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.